All right, welcome back to another episode of the Pack 9 Show. We're looking at the Week 14 recap, and both of us are pretty happy because we both really
Woo!
wanted to see the Buccaneers lose, and we discussed that last week. We both, Alex thought it was going to be 24-10. I thought it was going to be 17-13, and man, we were both wrong because they had scored more points by that point by halftime.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's how crazy this game was. It was so weird watching it too. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it. But just like starting out with a touchdown, and then Buccaneers missed their field goal on their next drive, and it
Yeah.
literally from that point on felt like it was already over.
Yeah,
Right?
it really did.
It really did. And then it was just touchdown after freaking touchdown. Brock Purdy making us saying Jimmy Garoppolo who, right? Because man, that guy is really good. And your team has to just be feeling great right now at 9-4 on top of the division solidly, and looking at a playoff berth.
Yeah, it was a great win, a very dominant win. I was not expecting that at all. From the first play, if you guys saw the first play, Brock Purdy just gets sacked so hard after he audibled to a
Yeah,
pass, and then ended up being roughing the passer. But before that play, I was like, "Oh no, is this gonna be one of those days?" But rough after that roughing the passer flag, it was just smooth sailing after that, and the offense looked smooth, and Debo just like is just way too fast, and people can't tackle him. Unfortunately, we did lose Debo, but he should be back. Possibly the last game of the regular season, definitely the playoffs. So it
yeah.
should
As of
be
right
cool.
now, it's expected to return in 3-ish weeks.
Yeah, 3-ish weeks is exactly what Shanahan said in the press conference. So hopefully, maybe we don't even need him though. Maybe he sits. We'll see. But
I mean,
McCaff,
not having Debo is going to be like you're gonna see it. You're gonna notice not having Debo in the next 3 weeks. I don't know if it's
yeah,
gonna tank your season or anything like that, but that guy is just such a dynamic playmaker when he's out there.
yeah. When he gets the ball, he's just electric. He could turn a negative 5 yard play to a 2 yard play, and it'll be the best 2 yard play you've ever seen. And it's just like so. We're definitely missing out on a one heck of a player, but we do have other people also that can also kind of fill those spots. So we can involve Kittle some more. McCaffrey had a crazy day. Jawan Jennings steps up. Ayuk obviously is there for some clutch third downs. So we still got the web. So if any team losing their star receiver, I think the Niners would be one of the better ones to do that. But in terms of the game, the defense just looks so dominant. The Bucks almost scored, but then there was a flag for holding, and so it got taken back. But man, Mike Evans was wide open. Besides that, we really didn't have too many mistakes. They tried to go for it on fourth down towards the end of the first half, and they couldn't get it. And they were like at like the 10 yard line, something like that, 15 yard line. So defense came in clutch again, and what can I say but do the little Nick Bosa thing? I mean, this defense is looking great. This is clearly looking like one of the dominant teams. Purdy is looking good. He's got some great footwork. He's looking nice on these passes. Looks like he's got a little bit of a deep ball too, so that's kind of good. So I do see some similarities with Jimmy G, but he has a little more of a deep ball. It looks like. So, I don't know. We'll just have to see what ends up happening. Teams are blitzing him a lot though, so hopefully he continues to succeed in that. But as of right now, as a Niners fan, I'm feeling great.
Yeah, and the Bucks too. Just talking about them a little bit. They just, man, that defense, your guys' defense just made them look so confused every play. And not only that, like just look at the beginning of the second quarter, which is two drive killers with interceptions from Tom Brady, right? Like,
Yeah.
and they got that they almost had this long like 60-yard bomb to Mike Evans that was called back too, right? Like,
Yeah, that would have been that touchdown. Yep.
right. So like it's serious. Like I don't know, they just look confused and their defense even though they lost like two guys to like Vita Vea and
Yeah, and
um
I forget who the other guy
I
was.
can't remember
But
either,
Vita
but
Vea is huge for that.
Vita Vea is huge. But man, like like who do we give the credit to? Do we give the credit to Brock Purdy or or just a very weak Buccaneers defense? Because going forward for the Bucks, they have a lot of questions up in the air, and you know, they're technically at the top of the division, but it's 6-7, and it's still really tight in the standings. So they very much have their season on the line going forward too.
Yeah, and I
This is a
think
pretty embarrassing showing for them.
if the Panthers win out, they automatically win the division. So I think the Panthers are still in it as well. It's kind of
Hmm.
gonna be an interesting time down there in the NFC South.
Yeah, no kidding. And of course, the Green Bay Packers did not play this week, but somehow had a very successful bye because we are now, by one metric, like 60% likely to make the playoffs. And that is an incredible feat.
Like
I mean,
what?
we still have some tough matchups going ahead, and we'll discuss that in the other Pac 9 program. But
Hmm.
yeah, I can't say that we necessarily had a bad week on the bye, which is kind of weird to say. You know?
Yeah, and hey, giving Green Bay a week of rest, like a week 14 bye
Yeah.
is stupid, I think. And so finally they get a bye week. I think that's gonna help them out a lot.
Yeah, it looks like Romeo Dobbs might be coming back and playing.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what happens, you know.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm looking at the rest of the week, or I'm sorry, the rest of the league. Who do you think was the happiest fan base this week?
For me, happiest fan base, I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals. I think the Bengals, they're kind of on a hot streak, and it seems a little quiet, but they're on a 5-game win streak. They beat the Chiefs. They beat the Browns this week. They're just running hot. They're getting healthy. Jamar Chase is back. They're starting to get all their pieces back, and so I think the Bengals are quietly kind of killing it.
Yeah, and right now they're just behind the Ravens only in division wins, and
Hmm.
so but they're tied in the standings, and they're both 9-4. But the Ravens look like they have a lot more injury trouble going forward than the Bengals do, so the doors are opening for them.
Yeah, yeah, and the Baltimore has a lot of division games left still, so yeah.
Yeah, and I was gonna say the happiest team this week is the Niners. Honestly, I mean,
Oh,
you get two games pulling ahead of the Seahawks in the standings is always good. Just a trouncing of the Bucks and Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, looking like he can be like the a comfortable starter going forward and even into the postseason. Like nobody's happier than them right now.
right, exactly. And I'll take that. I think that goes to show. Shout out to the coaching, Kyle Shanahan, and doing just a great job with getting the quarterback kind of settled in, feeling comfortable. I think that's a big deal.
Oh, absolutely. And who do you got for the saddest?
The saddest, oh man, and I don't want to sound biased, but the Arizona Cardinals must be feeling so sad. And as a rival, I love it. And they lose another home game. They lose Kyler Murray, which is very unfortunate. Never like to see an ACL injury. But
Hmm.
and then on top of that, they end up losing the game as well. It's been a rough year for the Cardinals, and they're doing it on Hard Knocks on HBO. It's just like they must not be happy at all. There's no way.
Oh yeah, they definitely got to be sad. The only thing they're not sad about is that they're literally like the only place in the nation that's not going to be under a bunch of snow and rain. So
Right.
literally the only thing they can hang their hat on. And yeah, I think I'm actually gonna go with the Jets because
Oh.
man, like yeah, I'm switching it up from what we discussed earlier because the Jets just they were playing Buffalo, of course, and that is always tough, especially in Buffalo with the snow and all that and the rain. But man, losing to a division rival always sucks. And they are now technically last in their division. It kind of helped them. The Dolphins lost this week, so they're only one game behind them. But I think the fan base was just so ecstatic with Mike White coming in and looking awesome. And then by the end of this game, they're back to Joe Flacco, and Mike White goes to the hospital in an ambulance.
Yeah, wait a second. So he left the locker room, came back, then left the locker room again, then came back, then went to the hospital. What is going on?
Yeah, well, it seemed like Tony Romo was saying during the game that like after that first hit, he was like, "Oh yeah, he's got some broken ribs. There's no way he's coming back from the locker room." And then he did. The surprise of everybody, just like toughing it out. But it seems like he has broken ribs, so like you gotta have to deal with that. And yeah, I don't know what that actually means going forward for Mike White if he's gonna be still playing even next week. But it'd be surprising if he just returns to full form if he does. And so like they're put in a really tough spot right now where every game matters for them if they're going to make it to the postseason.
Yeah.
And they really could have used that win, taking a game off of Buffalo and getting themselves up. So that's what I'm going to go with this week.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tight race, especially for that seventh spot. We got three teams at 7 and 6, and so it's gonna be interesting in the AFC as well.
And then just honorable mention to the Vikings who are 10-3 with a -1 point differential.
Yeah, that.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, that. I I have no words.
No, exactly. And that's how we're going to end it. Thanks again for tuning into another episode of the Pack 9 Show. Be sure to like and subscribe and to check out our other videos and leave some comments if you think we're right, if you think we're wrong, whatever you think, we want to know too. See you next time.